The world of British cars is full of triumph and tragedy. From the highs of BMC with their game-changing models, to the lows of 2005, where MG Rover fell apart. The tales of the British motor industry have always been a roller coaster of emotion. Of all the cars, companies and people, there is one story that stands out as the saddest. A small sports car filled with joy and promise turned into the most depressing story ever. That car is the ADO70 Calypso, a small sports car that led an epic journey, only to be abandoned at the last minute and left to rot. This is the story of ADO70, the cruelest car story ever. Hello everybody and welcome to this video on one of the saddest car stories ever, ADO70 and its epic journey across Europe. If you're not subscribed already, please make sure to do so. It really does help me out and you get to see more of this. More history videos, more cars and classics uncovered, and more projects. What is your opinion on ADO70? Do you think it's a lost cause, or do you think they made the wrong decision? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure to like the video if you liked it, and share if you want other people to see this humble car's sad story. But without further delay, let's get into this video. To understand our protagonist, we need to go back to where it all started. Back in the late 60s, British Leyland was at a crossroads. The behemoth had been born through the merger of all mergers to create the biggest car company of the time. The marks of BL spanned geography, category and international market. But there was one international market of particular interest to the newly founded British Leyland, North America. You see, many had tried to crack the American market before. Rover with their P6, a great car, but it didn't really catch on. But there was one category of car at the time that really did turn the Americans' heads. The small, lightweight British sports car. The MG had taken America by storm in the early 60s. The MGA laid the groundwork with its incredible design and its success in racing. This is what made its follow-up, the MGB, and its companion models some of the most successful British cars the continent had ever seen. Triumph had also made some serious headway in the category as well with its Spitfire and its TR series. Naturally, Leyland wanted to cash in on the success forged by BMC and its enemies turned friends in the earlier years, which is why several models would be explored. But what if BMC, the trailblazer of this category, had something already up their sleeve? It turns out they did. Deep inside the archives of Longbridge lay a project that was long forgotten. A design for a small sports car to take the market by storm. That car was ADO34, a series of Pininfarina designed small sports cars built on the same platform as the Mini. This was an almost democratised vision for the sports car, cheaper than the Midget, which was cheap enough already, and for BMC easy to build thanks to its Mini-based design. Italian style would finish it off, creating a stylish, compact sports car ready to take the market by storm, both at home and abroad. Sadly though, the world of BMC at the time pulled the car in too many different directions. ADO34 would be cancelled in 1964. Meanwhile, back in the late 60s, British Leyland were going down the exact same route, this time led by Harry Webster. The brief was simple: create a small sports car for the American market. As with ADO34, the Mini would be used as a base. After all, Longbridge was churning out Minis by this time at an amazing rate, when there wasn't industrial unrest of course. In the Longbridge design office, Paul Hughes and Rob Owen would be tasked with sketching out this new two-seater. The issue was the American market were poised to introduce regulations that would kill the open-top sports car. Therefore, it was decided to go with a Targa top design, similar to the Porsche 914 and Triumph's long-lost Bullet. This made the project even more important. The regulations could stand to kill any refresh of the current models, losing British Leyland valuable market share. The design was incredibly promising, blending Americana with European design. It appeared it was going to be a rational car too, but with the advancements from other models. hydroelastic suspension, but with easy to manufacture parts shared with other models featuring across the rest of the car. Everything was unusually on time, all was going well. By 1969 the car was ready for its first prototype to be built. Harry Webster would then commission veteran designer of many Triumph cars, Michelotti, to create the car. A 1275 Mini would be sent to the Turin design studio Carrozzeria to create a new body. The Mini would then be cut apart. Their aim was to build this car as cheaply as possible. Running gear would be adapted to accept a completely different body shape, and this is where it would all come undone. Unfortunately, during the project, drive shafts would be damaged and the body, well, the hand-built body, would balloon in weight. The result was inevitable. When it all came together, ADO70 suspension would start to leak. It simply couldn't handle the excess weight. Drive shafts were also badly damaged, and extremely poor steering would result in a car that was almost completely unusable as a prototype. It seemed the team had chosen form over function. For what was supposed to be a running prototype, this was an absolute disaster. If this car was supposed to show the bigwigs at BL how easy it was to adapt the Mini platform to a new design, it would prove to become its own counterpoint. And on top of this, suddenly the car didn't run. The project was now in a precarious place. Hundreds of miles away in Turin, due to being inspected by management, ADO70 would find itself stranded. ADO70 though would find itself with an unlikely saviour, Innocenti. Now BL's Italian arm Innocenti would take ADO70 away and finally get it running. Bodge a few bits with limited parts and send the car on its way, but no, not to be transported as most prototypes would. To be driven all the way from Turin to Longbridge, a grueling 17-hour drive, and that is at average speeds. This would be a completely different ballgame. Because the prototype was so badly damaged it had to be limped home. The overweight body would destroy the suspension with every mile. The drive shafts would eat themselves too, and that was just the car. We don't know who drove ADO70 home, but by God it must have been terrifying. A one-off prototype tearing itself apart nearly 900 miles away from your destination. An incredible yet slow pilgrimage. And I thought it was an accomplishment doing that same journey in a Rover 75 with limited service history. But the car did make it back to Longbridge, all under its own power supposedly. An incredible feat, not just for the car and the driver, but a testament to the Mini's powertrain. You may think it would have been given a rapturous reception, the board waiting with open arms to see this new moneymaker, that despite the odds made it. A sign from God perhaps, limping into the place where it would be mass produced. Sadly, the board weren't that superstitious. It was not to be. ADO70 made it, yes, but that's about it. A few months earlier before its arrival, the board had reviewed a mock-up and were less than impressed. And when the prototype turned up leaking and creaking, they were even less impressed. The board had concluded after all this effort, the exact same as BMC had years earlier, that the A-Series front-wheel drive package wasn't what the Americans wanted. At the time, another factor was in play as well. The Mini was due a replacement, so the promise of this cheap Mini derivative was dead in the water. After all, the A-Series was going to stop production in the early 1970s. In mid-1970, the car would be cancelled. In a cruel twist of fate, the car would be left outside to rot at Longbridge, parked outside the studio that penned it. It would languish outside in the elements for years. All the while, the very reasons for its cancellation would not come to pass. The A-Series would be produced until 2000, and so would the Mini, surviving replacement after replacement. ADO70 would survive though, year after year in the elements, and finally, after years of rejection, ADO70 would be welcomed into the open arms of the British Motor Museum. It would be restored and put on display, taking pride of place in the prototype series area of the museum, as one of the first cars you see when you walk in. A fitting end to one of the saddest stories of the British Leyland era. What do you think of ADO70? Do you think it could have been a hit with some more refinement? Or would it have been a miss, the same way it missed with the board at Longbridge? Let me know in the comments below. But as always, thank you for watching, keep watching and remember to subscribe for more of this, and I'll see you in the next one.